Hey everybody, here in my garage with my Lamborghini. But you know what I think is even more important than material stuff? Knowledge. I'm actually more proud of these 7 books I have. What's up everyone? Today I wanted to drop some knowledge on you. More specifically, I want to refer you to some knowledge. So a lot of people ask where the heck I learn all this stuff from. And other than my own personal experiences, I actually learn all this in what are called books. So it's a bunch of sheets of paper, they're all bound together, and on those sheets of paper are a whole bunch of words, and when you put all those words together, it creates information. So you can actually buy this information. So today I'm going to show you my favorite books, my must-read list. I'm going to break this video, I'm going to break these books up into 4 categories: training, nutrition, motivation, and business. Alright, with regards to training, first and foremost, starting strength. If you are training with the barbell, you have to read these books. The original book that I read was the 2nd edition. Since then I've read the 3rd edition, the most updated, and it is actually way better than this one. So, starting strength, 3rd edition. You have to understand this stuff if you're training with a barbell, or if you're coaching the barbell lifts. Bench, squat, deadlift, overhead press, power clean, power snatch. It's all covered in here. Correct execution of the lifts. He talks about anatomy, physiology, programming. He goes into beginner, intermediate, and advanced lifters, transitioning from those phases. It is very simple stuff, but simple sometimes is groundbreaking. Keep the barbell over midfoot, move the bar vertically in a straight line, stress, recover, adapt. To roll off of that, I do not have the book with me because I lent it to someone, but Practical Programming for Strength Training, also by Mark Rippetoe. You have to read that one also. Next, Advances in Functional Training by Michael Boyle. The strength training advice in here, not so much. I would refer to starting strength for that. But as far as injuries, injury prevention, rehabilitation, correctional exercises, stretching, warming up, myofascial release, this book is awesome. I refer to it often, and you've probably heard me quote it quite a few times in some of my videos. Next book up on my training list is Easy Strength: How to Get a Lot Stronger Than Your Competition and Dominate in Your Sport by Dan, John, and Pavel. So this is an awesome book, lots of programming in here, lots of experience from these two as athletes or as coaches, years and years of coaching. They share their experiences in here, and the format for this book is really, really interesting. It's kind of like a conversation text, back and forth. It's not like a textbook format, so you get a little bit of their humor and their personalities in here. So, Easy Strength. Next up, The Purposeful Primitive: From Fat and Flaccid to Lean and Powerful by Marty Gallagher. Marty Gallagher, for those of you who don't know, has been around. He is a 3-time World Master Powerlifting Champion, Teenage National Olympic Lift Champion. He's coached all kinds of teams, the national titles. So he's very specific. He's not just a skinny old strength and conditioning coach. He has a lot of experience in powerlifting, barbell training. So this book is awesome. He shares a lot of his experiences. He's been around for a long time. He's trained with some of the best, Ed Cohn, Kurt Karwoski, and he goes through some of the top powerlifters in history, and he explains his experiences with them, stories. He talks about their training regimens, how they differ. He talks a lot about nutrition in here, all kinds of nutrition, whether it's a bodybuilder style of nutrition, intermittent fasting, paleo, all kinds of different nutritional stuff. He talks about conditioning from a powerlifting coach's standpoint. So this is an awesome, awesome book. Going back to some content from Mark Rippetoe, I would suggest Strong Enough. If you enjoy Mark Rippetoe and you like his no-nonsense Texas style, Texas attitude, you will love this book. If you do not like Mark Rippetoe and you hate his no-nonsense Texas style, you will hate this book. He does talk about the lifts in here very briefly, but he talks about stories. He gives his opinion on certain strength training and fitness topics. Thoughts from 30 years of barbell training. It's a very entertaining book. I've read it probably 4 or 5 times through. I really enjoy it. Next book, I really enjoyed Dan John's stuff, his content, and his take on strength training. So I would suggest Never Let Go by Dan John. A lot of times, especially nowadays, there's so much information out there, and everyone's trying to be groundbreaking. They're trying to come up with these new, innovative ways to get strong, to get in shape, to lose weight, yada, yada, yada. And he brings us back down to earth and says, look, these are the basics, they work. He's had a lot of experience as an athlete and as a coach. I mean, look at this picture. He's carrying a sandbag and dragging a sled in the snow. And lastly, for my training topic, Olympic Weightlifting, a complete guide for athletes and coaches by Greg Everett. This is the starting strength of Olympic weightlifting. There is no book better. If you want to learn the Olympic lifts, if you want to coach the Olympic lifts, this is it. Plenty of pictures. It's extremely in-depth. Great book if you want to incorporate the Olympic lifts into your routine, and I think you should. All right, let's move on to my nutrition books. So the first one is Better Than Steroids by Dr. Warren Willy. Look at this guy. So he is a competitive bodybuilder as well as a doctor. He talks a lot in this book about food timing, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, what you should be eating pre-workout, what you should be eating post-workout, and it's not a bunch of gimmicky BS of supplements and this and that. It is about eating food. So Better Than Steroids means you can actually use food. Food will have an anabolic effect that can be better than steroids. So that's what this book's about, and I'd highly suggest it, especially those of you who are really wanting to improve your body composition, lose fat, get jacked, and all that good stuff. All right, this next book is not entirely nutritional based, but it is How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy by Paul Chek. So he talks a little bit about training here, strength training, but a lot of it, the nutritional information in here is great. He talks about digestive health, sleeping, recovery, stretching, breathing. This is actually Elliot Hulse's mentor. He said that in one of his videos. So a lot of the stuff that Elliot talks about, he learned from Paul Chek. So this is a great book. I put it in the nutritional category because I use it more for that than I would for strength training. But yeah, Paul Chek, How to Eat, Move, and Be Healthy. Next up, Nourishing Traditions by Sally Fallon. It's a cookbook that challenges politically correct nutrition. Like it says, it is a cookbook. It's a huge cookbook, and I've actually not used one of these recipes. But the first 60 or 70 pages, it's awesome nutritional information. You must read it. She does an excellent job of explaining everything. So I love this, and I refer to this often for nutritional facts. And lastly, we have this boring old hardcover nutritional textbook, college textbook. So this is not something that I would kick back and read for enjoyment purposes, but it is important to understand what a protein is, what fats are, what carbohydrates are, their role in the body, and a textbook is an excellent guide to find that information. So like it says, understanding nutrition is very, very important. A textbook will teach you all that. All right, moving on to my motivational books. This is one of my top books, not just for motivation, but out of all of my books, that I would suggest. Ironmind, Stronger Mind, Stronger Bodies by Randall Strossen. If you guys have heard of Super Squats, the 20 rep squat program, this is the author. This was the first book that I read when it really hit me like, wow, there's a lot of mental game to lifting weights, and he covers that in here. The way that it's set up is it's a whole bunch of chapters. Each chapter is individual. He talks about different topics in each. Massive motivation, fear of success, labels as limits, bouncing back, giant steps to glory. So this is the starting strength of your mental game. Next book could be in my business category, but I'll put it in the motivation category. Thick Face, Black Heart, a warrior philosophy for conquering the challenges of business and life. Excellent book. Highly suggested, of course. I think I've said that for every one of my books that I've shown you. Thick Face, Black Heart. Next up, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor E. Frankl. So this guy was a Holocaust survivor. He was in a Nazi camp. Lots of his friends, lots of his family died. And in this book, he talks about how you cannot always control suffering. You can't always control life's circumstances, what life throws at you. But what you can control is your reaction to those circumstances. And your reaction to those circumstances in life are going to determine your outcome. Man's Search for Meaning. Next up on my list, The Way of the Superior Man. A spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. Yes, there is some talk in here about sex and about dealing with women, which is all well and good. But the reason I included this book is because there is a lot in this book about, as a man, it is your, or a woman, it is your responsibility to find out what your purpose is, what's in your heart, and go after it with full force. I actually made a motivational video a long time ago when I first opened Untamed Strength, and in the video there's a voiceover of me reciting a bunch of stuff straight from this book. I'll include a link up to that video up in the right hand corner of this video. Click on it if you want to watch that motivational video. The Way of the Superior Man. Every man must read this. Lastly, for the motivational category, Les Brown, my man. Live Your Dreams by Les Brown. If you don't even if you don't want to buy this book and read it, you can go on YouTube and watch all kinds of motivational speeches that he's giving. I don't care what you do in life. I don't care if you lift weights, if you don't, if you own a business, if you don't. He does a really good job of motivating you. I love his style and his delivery. All right, wrapping this up, we're going to move on to the business topic, which I don't know if many of you are going to even benefit from, but if you do, right on. I am a business owner. I'm not just a guy who makes YouTube videos. Untamed Strength is a gym. So if you own a business, or if you plan on owning a business, you have to read these books. First up, The Ultimate Marketing Plan. Apparently this is the 4th edition by Dan S. Kennedy. If you plan on selling something, a product, a service, a brand, you have to understand everything this book covers. Buy it, read it, take notes, understand it, memorize it. It will get you far. Next up, extremely important book to read and a very important concept to understand if you're planning on owning your own business. The E-Myth Revisited, Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. This book pretty much talks about how if Betty loves making apple pies and Betty is very good at making apple pies, it does not necessarily mean that Betty should start a business selling apple pies. A lot of you have said things, and I've heard a lot of people say like, man, I love being in the gym, I love lifting weights, I would love to own my own business, and I think I'm going to. I'm going to start a business, I'm going to open up a gym. And it's not that simple. Just because you love doing something does not mean you should make a business of it. If you don't really understand what the heck I'm talking about, buy the book and read it. He does a lot better job. Michael E. Gerber does a lot better job of explaining it than I do. And lastly, for my business topic, The Purple Cow by Seth Godin. Elliot Holtz referred me to this book. I've actually been to a Yo Elliott seminar, and when I talked to him, he said you got to read this book. So that's it, everyone. Thank you very much for watching. If you made it through this whole video, I know it was rather dry, but hopefully you can benefit from some of this information. And what I want to do is, if any of you have any suggestions about books to read or maybe resources to look into, comment down below, and I want you to put it in a format. So you'll put the topic. It doesn't have to be the 4 topics I described. You can add your own, but you would put strength training and then list a book that I didn't list and the author, or business, book and the author, so that we can spread some knowledge all around, and so that I can peek comments, maybe buy some of these books myself. I'm always looking for more books. So until next time,
Tread on time.